right, so once again, I'm live on this, I would say, Tuesday evening. Let's put it like that. And it's been a interesting day. A lot of news going on. Things I haven't been able to touch on recently. Since last week. But I can touch on it today now. I'm back in business. Um, a lot of things went down. Um, Trump case, Alabama thing, so forth and the like. California biolab. I mean, it's been a lot. Um, I mean, that's just the way it is. Things go by very, very quickly. So I have to keep control of the stories and I have to find out what's going on. Um, it's been very interesting. I'll say that for the most part. It's been very interesting. Um, Same stuff, different day, as they say. People still dying, being fooled by the mainstream media. Um, but it is what it is. So, it is what it is, man. It's just very, very, very cynical what's going on right now. Um, a lot of cynical stuff going on. Let me write this down. And I put this down here. Write this down. I need to put this up. This is a big time story. Yeah, okay, that's it. So let's pull this up. Mm. They want to pull the article up. Mm. That's very interesting. Mm. All right, I got it now. Let me read this disclaimer before I even start. Fair use copyright disclaimer in Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 allowance made fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use of the use permitted by copyright statute otherwise might be infringed.
California are looking into the origins of an unauthorized biolab testing facility that was discovered in the city of Reedley. Concern was immediately raised after the lab was found with at least 20 different infectious agents, from herpes to malaria, COVID, all being stored inadequately, messy, right? You're looking at some of the images from inside. Investigators also discovered nearly 1,000 mice conditions. Many of them were dead when they got there. Officials say a Chinese medical company was operating this unlicensed facility, and any investigation into the origins of the company is turning up empty. Local leaders are now under fire after it was discovered the county learned of the illegal lab back in December, but that the public wasn't alerted until months later. Lawmakers are now calling on Congress to investigate this. There is fear this lab leak may resemble what we saw in Wuhan, China, and allegations around a leak there and the start of COVID-19. I want to bring in now just to understand the investigation and how this will progress as national security analyst and former CAA officer Tracy Walder. Tracy, thanks for being here. This is a biological house of horrors, as it's been described, and many of the investigators working the case said they have never seen anything like it. How do they go about this investigation, given the fact that it sounds like the Chinese company they're working with is not being all that forthcoming about what they were doing and why?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Marnie. Just as you said, this is a biological house of horrors. I worked WMDs at the CIA. This is not how you store them. All of these materials needed to be in at the very lowest a biosafety level facility of a 2 or perhaps a 3. This was nowhere near that. This was just a warehouse. And again, all that they saw initially that tipped them off, really the code enforcer here is the hero in this story, was kind of an errant hose. My guess is it's going to be very difficult to find the origins. A lot of times what happens in the Chinese counterintelligence cases I worked at the Bureau is that people come here, agents of China do come here as private citizens, if you will, establish private companies or get into private employment somewhere. And then it becomes very difficult to track their origins back to China. That's a case we had a lot of difficulty doing and proving that. And that's why a lot of times it's really difficult to try them under the Espionage Act for something like this.
So will they be trying to determine if this was just careless and sloppy work or if it was something more nefarious? Will that be hard to find out?
I think they're probably going to do both. Look, the first thing that they need to do here is make this area safe, safe for the citizens of this community and safe for the public as a whole. I think that is priority number one. And it's my understanding that's what they have been doing since March. So I think once all of that is underway, the next thing they will do is look at the source of origin behind all of this. But I suspect that that's going to take quite a while. Again, the Chinese CI case I worked at the Bureau took in total about 6 years. I hope that's not the case here, but that's a lot of times what can happen when putting all these puzzle pieces together.
And the big question from the public, right, is safety and a possible bio threat. I mean, how easy would it be for one of these viruses, we're talking chlamydia, E. coli, hepatitis, rubella, malaria, to get into public as they abate this issue?
Right. I mean, that is problem number one, that they are trying to mitigate. My bigger question, and I've said this before, is I want to understand also where the samples of these diseases came from. We have very strict protocol here in the United States in terms of how we pass these around to our different BSL level facilities. I want to understand where these came from, because that's problematic as well. Were those handled properly? And if not, did that get out to other communities as well during their transit? I don't mean to scare people, but I think that that's a big thing we need to think about.
Right. And if not for this one worker who saw that errant hose, we might not know this place existed. But it also makes you wonder how many more of these places are hiding in plain sight.
Absolutely. I mean, again, I do believe this code enforcer is quite frankly hero in this situation. It does make me wonder how many of these places are hiding in plain sight, which again, I'm scary to some people, but I think we need to be vigilant. And this seems trite or flippant, but if you do see something, say something, there's no harm in that at all.
Yeah, this company, Prestige Biotech, Chinese medical company registered in Nevada, operating unlicensed at this facility. A lot of questions around this. Tracy, is all thank you for your perspective. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage. With at least 20 different origins of
Yeah. This is very troubling. But it seems like there's a lot of things going on. Yeah. A lot of things going on. A lot of things going on in this thing. I'm not really understanding it, but okay. I don't know where Chak at, but I did send him a link though. But it is what it is. But anyway, this violent stuff is very disturbing. Shows you there's a lot of things at play here. Which is very interesting that they really going. So it sounds like they're going back to the same old tactics.
Well, what if I need more coverage?
State Farm is.
Okay. So that's that. So that's one thing. So now we got another thing with they say COVID is back on the rise. I don't know. Let's check this out.
Hospitalizations increased during the last week of July, and this comes as tracking reinfections of the virus continue to wane after the public health emergency ended in May. ABC News medical contributor and epidemiologist epidemiologist Dr. John Brownstein is joining us now. From hospitalizations, they went up, 12.5% during the end of July compared to the week prior. So realistically, how does that compare to the peak of this pandemic? And do we need to be concerned?
Yeah, well, Kana, we do have to be concerned to a certain degree and be vigilant. And we are seeing a lot more people around us getting COVID. That being said, those numbers still remain incredibly low. If you put it into perspective, we've seen about 9,000 weekly hospitalizations. We had about 150,000 during the height of the Omicron peak. So it's still such a small fraction. And we haven't seen any changes in deaths. So there could be reporting delays. A lot of these increasing cases are related to this new variant, the EG5, but it's really.
What's going on, brother?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing?
Can you hear me? All right. I'm all right. I'll take that.
Yeah, you a little choppy though. You a little choppy though. You real choppy. I don't know what's going on. You real choppy. You all right?
Is it choppy now? Is it choppy now? Is it choppy?
Yeah. You still choppy. Yeah, you breaking up a lot. You breaking up a lot. Yeah, go out and come back in and see what happens.
All right.
Yep. Okay. All right, let me. So I'm gonna tell them to come back in, see what happens. Not a good information here. Hello? Yep. You got me? You got me, Chak? Hello?
My check.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, bro.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
I tell you what, I'm gonna play the audio. I'm gonna call you on the phone, and that way you do it that way.
I like these headsets, man. I'm trying to get all these headsets, man. Just grab them. Just do that.
All right, let me play the video, and then I just when you want to come in and say something, we'll see what happens. All right.
Increased during the last week of July. And this comes as tracking reinfections of the virus continue to wane after the public health emergency ended in May. ABC News medical contributor and epidemiologist Dr. John Brownstein is joining us now for more. So thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Brownstein. And those hospitalizations, they went up, 12.5% during the end of July compared to the week prior. So realistically, how does that compare to the peak of this pandemic? And do we need to be concerned?
Yeah, well, Kana, we do have to be concerned to a certain degree and be vigilant. And we are seeing a lot more people around us getting COVID. That being said, those numbers still remain incredibly low. If you put it into perspective, we've seen about 9,000 weekly hospitalizations. We had about 150,000 during the height of the Omicron peak. So it's still such a small fraction. And we haven't seen any changes in deaths. So there could be a lot of these increasing cases are related to this new variant, the EG5, but it's really a descendant of Omicron. So our existing treatments, our tests, our vaccines all work. So yes, we should watch these numbers and be concerned, but overall, this isn't a big change in the pandemic.
And what about protecting ourselves? You know, a lot of people need to stay inside during the hot weather. Other people are doing a lot of traveling over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to be concerned about aggregation. It's raining really badly here in Boston. People are coming together. That is a recipe for transmission. That being said, we have the tools to protect ourselves. We have the vaccines. We have an upcoming booster shot that I urge people that are eligible to get that booster shot. Overall, we have the tools. People just need to follow local guidelines and understand that in situations where you have high transmission, you want to try to find ways to reduce risk. So that ultimately is something that we can all abide by and help to reduce transmission heading into the fall.
And the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recently announced it's opening an office that will focus on long COVID research and will launch some clinical trials. So how significant is that, and what are researchers hoping to learn there?
Yeah, Kena, this is a really big deal. This is the largest investment in long COVID that we've seen to date, over $1 billion. And this is important because 1 in 13 adults suffer from long COVID. That's about 7.5% of the population, over 20 million people. So it represents a massive burden. And so we need to fully understand and appreciate why long COVID happens. And we have to provide better care. This is an amazing initiative that hopefully will help a lot of people.
All right, ABC News medical contributor, Dr. John Brownstein, thank you for your time.
What do you think about that, Chak?
I think it's a little clear.
Yeah, you still choppy though.
Myself.
Yeah, you still choppy.
I'm gonna tell you
I don't know what's going on.
It must be bad.
Maybe some. I tell you, let me call you on the phone, all right? Let me call you on the phone, man. Make it easy. Cause I don't know what's going on. You mind if I call you on the phone?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what maybe it's happening. It's happening. We do something. Maybe do that.
Call you on the phone? All right, cool. All right. Hello?
Yo.
Yeah. You there?
Yeah.
Hey, I said, what do you think about that thing with all these so-called new hospitalizations going on?
Man, look at man. You're getting the banana up the tailpipe, brother.
Well, that's mighty interesting you saying that, because before you came on, there was a video I was playing about in California. You got a biolab where they found mice, they found diseases that stored like HIV, herpes, so forth. Like they found like all these testing kits and stuff. Like it was a biolab in California funded with $500,000 of taxpayer money, and this was discovered in California.
Wow.
So it's mighty funny. that all that's going on. As a matter of fact, let me read it to you. Because I already played the video.
Yeah, I might have to just log in with my phone. I was used to tablet.
Yeah, log in with the phone and see what happens.
Yeah, but it ain't even showing you up on the screen. It just show you. It's got your name on it, but it's got a black screen.
Yeah. They were.
Oh, you got me back. What's that backstage?
Oh, let me try it again. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I read the show. I read it, but don't come on my tablet. Though. It could be something on my tablet. It could be the data or something going on. I see you now. Wherever I see me, but I don't see you.
I'm up there. Oh, unplug. Oh, cut,
I see it. I ain't nothing but just.
cut your mic on.
If I cut my mic on, you're just gonna mic will echo. Hold on. Peace.
Can you hear me?
You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you still choppy. Yeah, you still choppy. So I tell you what, do what you said. Come through on your tablet, no, your phone, and try it that way.
Yeah, there's something going on with this reception on this tab. I don't know what's going on. It's low, very low. All right.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So. Hmm. Hmm.
(2022), and he will get credit for the time served. His attorney, Jose Baez, just spoke here outside of the courthouse. He says they're incredibly disappointed. Sentence extreme. He said this is another example to set an example. This, of course, all stems from an incident back in 2020. Megan Thee Stallion said that Lanez shot at her feet after a party in the Hollywood Hills. Lanez attorneys, they were hoping for probation and asked that he be released from jail to enter a residential substance abuse program. The prosecution was standing firm on 13 years with additional enhancements courtroom over the last 2 days, and it's all come to a head with this 10-year sentence. Megan Thee Stallion urged the judge to hand a stiff sentence. She testified in a written statement saying, "Since I was I have not experienced a peace," and she says she will never be the same. Tory himself spoke at length today. He said he has never been through a situation like this. He wanted to talk and speak from the heart, he said. He said since he's been in prison, he's been a positive influence to other inmates and a voice of reason. He said he understands the severity of the charges and doesn't take it lightly, and he asked the judge for a sentence. After the judgment, Hernie spoke. Take a listen to what he said.
I think the sentence handed down was have seen cases of vehicular homicide and other cases where there's death and versus less than 10 years. Extreme. Someone being punished for this, someone being utilized as a to send an example. and he's not an example. He's a human being.
And just to recap what's happened here today, after a 2-day-long sentencing hearing, the judge issued a 10-year sentence for Tory Lanez. His attorney was out here. He spoke just a few minutes ago. He said he's incredibly disappointed, and they do plan to appeal his conviction. The attorney said that there was a conflict of interest during the original trial, and they plan to file that appeal very soon. That's the very latest downtown. I'm Rachel Menitoff. I'll send it back inside.
All right. Can you hear me?
Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so that was on Tory Lanez. He getting 10 years in prison for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot.
Yeah, man. I don't think he did it. You know what I'm saying? But he messed himself up with out there trying to be all the other infractions that he had on himself, man. Trying to out there play this gangster American gangster mentality, yo. And I think it just caught up with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very unfortunate situation for the brother.
It definitely is, man. I heard playing around, man. Niggas be out here playing around.
Yeah, you can't do that, man, you know.
Hell no. You know, shit.
I just look at it like,
This should be a teachable moment for any young person, any person anywhere. This should be a teachable moment that when trolling goes wrong, you know what I'm saying? When pretending you something that you're not goes wrong, right? The abuse of alcohol goes wrong because all those things were major factors in this situation. The abuse of alcohol, abuse of drugs. There's no excuse to say that you was young and dumb. We say that because we know, you know, but it shouldn't be an excuse to do it. You know what I mean? So this should be teachable moments for all these young cats, young women and female. Because don't think just because Megan Thee Stallion, her and her friends went on trial that it shouldn't be a teachable moment in this situation because they shouldn't have been doing what they was doing. You know what I mean? And they actually just they came off unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. Because if everybody touched their goddamn gun, everybody should have been locked up. Everybody should have been doing some type of charges or some type of, you know what I mean? On my perspective. But I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. But 10 years? Yeah. I don't know. That's a hell of a penalty to pay for you know. But man, you play these games, man. These are the type of prizes you win every time. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's the same one. So let me play my next video. It's about ghost guns.
Oh, okay.
Our coverage of what's happening with the Trump indictment just for a moment here, because there's something that just has come down on the wires I want to ask you about, if that's okay. And that is a Supreme Court decision actually to revive restrictions on ghost guns. I want to kind of, I'm not, we're in the news business, so I'm getting this 5-4. Yeah. So this has just come down and just kind of, I know we haven't really had a chance to really prepare for this to come down because it's breaking news, but apparently the Supreme Court agreed to freeze a lower court order that bans the government from regulating these so-called ghost guns, untraceable homemade weapons as firearms under the federal law. Let's turn back to Trump in a moment, but I want to get your quick take on this.
It's a giant victory for the progressive and the left-leaning parts of the community, such as President Joe Biden, who are looking for stronger regulations on these so-called ghost guns. Problem is that the Second Amendment is pretty clear. We can argue over whether the court interprets it properly, whether they're including all of the language or conveniently forgetting a little bit of it. And our Constitution is subject to continual interpretation by Supreme Courts over eras and eras. But what's happened with technology is now, for the first time in the last several years, people are allowed to build at home basically a downloadable, anonymous, untraceable firearm. They can make it home. It does function. And it is an ultra hazardous instrumentality that can be used to kill someone. So the big question is, where can government step into your private life? Is it something that, as long as it doesn't leave the state, is not part of the streams of commerce? Is that a limitation? Is the government allowed to limit this at all because of the Second Amendment? A lot of arguments. This is a hot issue because of the extraordinary power and dangerousness of some of these ultra hazardous instrumentalities, but there's clear statutory restrictions on preventing people from owning and possessing firearms. I think that this is not the end of this story. This is just one ruling on one lower court. However, it shows the conservative, stalwart Supreme Court everybody's been counting on be as strong as
perspective on all that. Okay, let's.
What do you think about that, man?
Hi, investigators continue to search the.
What do you think about that, Chak?
Well,
They back on that gun. They back on that gun kick again.
Well, see, the problem is,
they back on that gun kick again.
Well, yeah. See, the problem is once they start restricting things, this is the ultimate goal is to restrict overall. So they start with, okay, this ghost gun. Then they're gonna say, oh well, handguns need to be outlawed too. We don't really necessarily need handguns. Or we don't need semi-automatic weapons or assault rifles or wherever it may have you. So it's really a beginning to the end. You know what I mean? Once you start to let them come in and quantify and restrict and shit, because as we can see, these people that so-called is influential positions, man, they don't ever stop. I keep always calling them extremists. Not all. They're extremists, man. Once they get one leeway, you give them a foot, they want to take a whole goddamn yard. You know what I mean? And so my question is, who is regulating the regulators? Who is regulating the regulators? You know what I mean? Why do we don't sit down and have a poll? We are very sophisticated. We're one of the most sophisticated countries. People from top bottom. Most, majority of the people, very red, up on politics. Why we don't have a poll with this when we come to these shit like this? Why the government, certain government sectors just get to make decisions for all people? Why we don't vote on this shit then? See, this is the shit we're supposed to be voting on this. Put a vote out there.
All right.
Put a vote out there and see who want this shit and who don't want this shit. Why they get to keep choosing for us? Yes, sir.
See, when you regulate, we lose. We lose. We forget who regulating. Let me show you this thing. I want you to comment on this because it's going to tie into this ghost gun thing. Because there going to be some serious regulations after I play this video on it.
Right.
I want you to comment on this after I'm done with it. And then we're going to try that both in together. Because you can always regulate stuff off of chaos.
Tonight, charges filed against a social media star for allegedly sparking a massive riot in Manhattan's Union Square, leading to 65 arrests and multiple injuries.
ordered to disperse.
They threw cones, they threw chairs. Police charged influencer Kai Cenat with inciting a riot and unlawful assembly. He avoided the spotlight while being released from custody.
Everybody for themselves. There's a war out there, man.
And now, for the first time, we're seeing how the event unfolded for Cenat.
Where the park at?
In a live stream of his arrival in Union Square, where it was police that had to save him from the very mess he created.
You have to pull up.
2 days before the incident, he posted online that he was going to be holding a giveaway.
We gonna ask y'all random questions, bro. If you get it right, boom, you get a PS5, just like that.
A promise of gaming consoles, gear, and $100 gift cards.
All MTA trains and all that. I know y'all not in school yet, so clear y'all schedules.
Cenat posting this to his 6.5 million followers on Twitch, a live streaming service mainly for gamers, where he ranks as one of the most subscribed users of all time and has around 15 million followers across all social media. The NYPD saying the crowds, made up of mostly underage kids, went from unruly to violent fast.
They destroyed food carts. They destroyed stores.
Street artist Franklin Casera says he was too close for comfort.
But I saw people fighting around me. I saw two guys pushing. They went down my stop, so I was really scared.
Leaving a cyber celebrity to millions, now in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons.
George joins me now from Union Square Park in New York. George, are we hearing anything from the social media star?
Jose Cenat's reps say they are cooperating fully with authorities. In a statement they just released, they say they are disheartened by the disorderly conduct and they do not condone the behavior. Jose?
All right, Chak. I played that to let you know this is how you regulate, because New York is one of them cities that got a lot of facial recognition. A lot of cities do, but New York was doing it before then. You can regulate and lock a whole lot of people down when you do something like that, along with the ghost gun thing we talked about earlier, because if something like that happens, you can start passing draconian laws and getting people of interest for being there and say you was involved in a melee, even though you weren't even really involved in it.
But I'm sorry. So what is the charges they charging this influencer dude? What
They're charging him with inciting a riot.
That's bullshit. Excuse my language. No, they probably can get him. They probably can get him unlawfully assembling, but I don't know, because my question is, what's the difference between him coming, he posting that he's gonna be at a certain position, a place that's a public place, public for everybody to come, and he's gonna give away gifts and shit. The difference between him and when the other organization do it. Come out and pass turkeys out and shit for Thanksgivings and shit. Now mind you. So why did he get? That's what I'm saying. I don't know if this stuff was orchestrated, man. I don't know if it was a stunt that went wrong, that went left. But why would he be blamed unless they got more evidence than we know
he was giving out
of him inciting?
$100 gift cards, games, and stuff like that. They said that's what he said he's doing, right? So
okay, so did he get a chance to get handed out?
No, as a matter of fact, he said that he did say on that Twitch video, he said in one of them videos or something, he said it could get rowdy out there, it's going dumb. But he can say that. That don't mean he incited a riot. But that's what they incite. They charge him with incite. They indicting him with stuff causing a riot out there.
Well, ain't this the same thing they're trying to get Trump on, man? They're trying to get you in. They try to include you into some behavior that some other people or activity gathering. And like you said, that January 6th shit. This is the preamble. That was the preamble to a lot of.
But look though, remember this. In the same year that January 6th thing happened, at the end of the year, they had that Travis Scott thing almost. Remember when they tried to get Travis Scott for the same thing? So they've been running tests lately on having people at events and calls and stuff. And whether some of this stuff is orchestrated, like I think that thing in New York, that was orchestrated, man. And that way you can lock down, or get people investigated on something that may not be their fault.
But yeah, it's the catch-22 because this is pretty much trying to eliminate and cut off people's First Amendment right, First Amendment to free speech, freedom to assemble, right, in a public place. You know what I mean? You can have public discourse, but why should I be the one held accountable for other people that come to the event? If somebody is prime example, right? If there's a farmer's market or if there's a grocery store, if a grocery store, which they always do, Walmart, any one of them, department stores, they have these back to school sales, you know what I'm saying, 50% off or the first 100, you know what I'm saying, patrons or consumers or customers, you know, we giving out $100 gift cards, back to school gift cards. If people come there and the people that's coming to that event or to that store or whatever, that facility, if fights, multiple fights or violence or something ensued, that's not on the shops. They're not going to charge the motherfucking people, the owner of the store or the store. They're going to have to get those individuals, you know what I'm saying, that's antagonizing the situation. Whether they was part of it, whoever initiated the violence or not. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know all the details. I don't know if they're trying to say that this guy deliberately, you know, had people to come and he with no intentions of him, you know, doing what he say. I don't know. But I heard one of the charges they saying that he was unlawfully assembling or some shit like that. An unlawful symbol or something. Was that one of the charges, Bernard?
Yeah.
It just seemed like they took, it's like they took the hand, it's like they allowed a lot of shit to go on and now they're trying to crack down on any and every little thing now. You know what I'm saying? Especially with certain people, you say. And we got to be careful of this, man, because like you said, we know there's always a crime bill creeping up the corner, creeping the corner. We know there's a crime bill that's cooking in the wind that ain't nobody paying attention to. Matter of fact, why do we don't never have insight on these crime bills? Once again, why don't the people have access to whoever writing these crime bills? Who are these motherfuckers be writing these crime bills and coming up with these statutes, laws, and codes? Not saying we don't need regulations, but damn, we need to be part of the regulations. You got people that's already hard working and been paying taxes and shit. Taxes and voting. Working hard. So we do need to change the way regulations things are being regulated. You know what I mean? Because people that's elected and people that's selected seem like the selected give themselves their own authority. And it's not necessarily supposed to be like that. The people at least supposed to have say so. You know what I'm saying? Forthcoming insight. But when you got people that have a tyrannical mindset, they have nefarious, you know, allegedly nefarious intentions, right? See, we get into a state of terror. We get into a terror state because they're just doing what they want to do. They're weaving in and out of the constitutional guidelines. You know what I mean? Weaving in and out of the constitutional guidelines. And this stuff needs to be reeled in, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if this person, as big as he was with that much influence, he put out that he was going to be there, that I would have thought he should have been working with the city. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, maybe not. with that much influence and influence, especially his handlers or his managers, his agents, because you don't get to that level without having a team, a major team behind you. You're not finna, the average person not finna just get no 15 million followers across no damn social media without some type of PR team working with you or some type of marketing team working with you to get you to that level. Anybody say that is, they full of shit and they're a liar. So he's been choosing to be in this particular situation.
Well, let me play this video, man. I want to play this video. I want you to hear what you think about this situation.
Back.
Jamie Foxx recently found himself back in the public spotlight after a months-long health scare, apologizing for an Instagram post some have accused of being anti-Semitic. In the now-deleted post, the Oscar winner said, quote, "They killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you?" with the hashtags fake friends and fake love. It's unclear who Fox's message was directed at, but it received backlash from many, particularly in the Jewish community. Some taking the "they" in that message to be a reference to Jewish people and the long-standing trope that Jews were responsible for crucifying Jesus. Fox later issued an apology, in part saying, quote, "I want to apologize to the Jewish community and everyone who was offended by my post. I know my choice of words have caused offense, and I'm sorry. That was never my intent." The head of the Anti-Defamation League posted this on X. "Truly appreciate Jamie Foxx reaching out and confirming privately what he also said publicly. His message of love for the Jewish community is crucial in this time of rising hate. We are stronger together."
I think that Jamie's apology was well intended, and I think it is also a reminder to anyone, famous or not.
Man, look here, man. Hold on,
if
cut that
you
shit.
have millions.
I don't even want to hear this motherfucker mouth. First of all, excuse my language, dog. Let me get in these trenches, Joe.
Come on,
Let me get in these damn trenches, Joe. See, these some of bitches, man, they pissing me off, dude, because they have no power, right? They think they do, and they try to use these little.
He ain't say nothing about those Jewish people.
I know. So they're gonna just invite themselves into victimhood. This is the problem. We allow them to invite themselves into victimhood anytime they want to. Right? First of all, they say, well, damn, you got to say the names. Then you say the names, then everybody damn Jewish. Then you say Jewish, then you speaking for everybody. Now everybody that's Jewish is going to come out the woodwork and say that they was offended.
Jonathan Greenblatt said Jamie Foxx stepped up and did the right thing.
Man, look here, dude. Now, see, this is the problem, too. You see how...
Why they crying wolf?
Man, they always crying wolf, man, because this is the problem, Bernard. And I want people to listen to this. It's amazing how they all are one. They all one Jewish group, right? But they done never all one Jewish group when they're getting caught doing some nefarious things. People that's from the so-called Jewish mindset. Because I don't know if it's a religion. I know it ain't no damn people, but whatever the ideology is that they go by, the creed that they going by. You know what I mean? It's amazing how they interject themselves and they pushing their weight around, dude. Trying to push their weight around, intimidating people, antagonizing people. They got their hands on everybody. Damn. It's really, to me, I really would love to have a conversation, press conference, because I would say, man, brother, you being a coward. Y'all being cowards now. Y'all want to be untouchable, right? You interject yourselves into situation scenarios. These are reaching.
I consider to be untouchable.
They're reaching now. You're reaching.
I just
interject yourself into some victimhood.
Wait a minute, man.
Oh, the they is us.
Wait a minute. I told you this morning, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is in prison, identified herself as Jewish and is getting special benefits because she's Jewish in prison, kosher and all this stuff, and basically using the Jewish thing as a way to get better benefits in prison. Smart move. But she's identifying as Jewish. She wasn't doing that before.
See, these people trying to write themselves in history as some grandioso, unstoppable, unapproachable type of shit. and it's really corny. It's getting corny, and they're going to make themselves. See, they're going to make themselves enemies. They're making enemies because they're trying to be victims when there's no victim. There shouldn't be no victimhood in this situation. You know what I mean? And even if there were, he was say they. Didn't mention no names. Didn't mention no groups. He just said they. They're gonna take it upon themselves and say, well, we're gonna oppose that they as us. And everybody come out the woodwork and embolden themselves, G. Really? See, they're making themselves, they're gonna make themselves public enemy number one because they don't want, see, this is the problem. They say they want to be equal. Well, I don't know about them. But ain't no such thing as an equality and no diversity shit because these motherfuckers want to be, they don't want to be held accountable for shit. Not a damn thing. Yo.
I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, I'm here. What'd you say?
All right.
All right.
Let me play this for you.
Is she getting ready to come up? Okay.
You said what?
Yeah. Damn, it's hot out there, boy. Shit.
What are you talking about?
No, I was talking about yeah, my brother's at the door. Yeah.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neo.
Yes.
All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I have to do another follow-up to dystonic gender ideology being pushed on children, aka transitioning kids, right? He came out on Vlad TV and said, hey, I'm not for parents transitioning their kids, right? Boys are boys, girls are girls, okay? He stated basic biological facts, and in 2023, apparently that is controversial. So controversial that I knew that Neo would issue an apology, right? I said in my video, I said, yeah, get this man 48 hours. He's going to issue a groveling apology to the mob, talking about how he plans to educate himself on the issue and that he loves the LGBT community. He didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, et cetera, right? That apology that he released on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call the app, that apology sounded like it came straight from his publicist, his PR person, which apparently it did, because Neo has now released a video on Instagram retracting his apology.
Buffering a little bit. Hold on.
Beliefs. I don't believe that kids should be transitioning, and he's basically pushing back against the mob, which is something that you love to see, right? So I want to go ahead and play this video of Neo, who seems to be taking a 180 when it comes to this issue, and this is going to get very interesting, folks, okay? Because now that he's releasing this video, best believe that the heat is really going to turn up on this man. But hey, according to him, he doesn't care if he gets canceled. We'll see. Take a look.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter. I am a 43-year-old heterosexual man raising 5 boys and 2 girls. Okay, that's my reality. Now, if my opinion offended somebody, yeah, sure, I apologize for you being offended because that wasn't my intention. My intention is never to offend anybody. However, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. I'm absolutely entitled to feel how I feel the same way you are entitled to feel how you feel. I ain't asked nobody to follow me. I ain't asked nobody to agree with me. I was asked a question and I answered the damn question. Okay. I have no beef with the LGBTQIA plus community whatsoever. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Do what you want to do with your kids. However, somebody asked my opinion on this matter, and this is how I feel. I will never be okay with allowing a child to make a decision that detrimental to their life. I will never be okay with that. I don't care. I definitely plan to educate myself a little bit more on this matter. However, I doubt that there's any book anywhere or any opinion that somebody's going to tell me that's going to make me okay with letting a child make a decision like that. That's just period, point blank. And that's how I feel. If I get canceled for this, then you know what? Maybe this is a world where they don't need a Neo no more. All right. And I got no problem with that. I'm a hustler. All right, I'll figure it out. I got kids to raise, and I'm going to do that regardless. So with that being said, y'all have a good day. I love everybody. Live how you want to live, love how you want to love, but your opinion is yours. Speak your opinion as much as you damn well feel like it. Because as I said, they're not important. They're not special. Everybody got one, and you're entitled to it. I'm entitled to mine. All right? Y'all feel how y'all want to feel. Have a great day. It's Neo. Peace.
All right. So basically what happened with Neo, he was asked by DJ Vlad about this trans stuff, and he said he didn't agree with it. And then he, they were the trans community and all these other bastards, they came out and started talking. You need to be counseled. You're miseducated. Doctors and science prove what you saying is wrong, blah, blah, blah. So then his publicist must have released an apology.
Okay.
Yeah, they would call him gay.
Name me one child has been transitioned that there was a success transition that this child, you know what I'm saying? Name me one in science, in history, by the science. Because these are all projections. They're projecting that kids can be transitioned. Name me one successful transition that a child went through, and they ain't forever scarred, mentally and physically. Name one.
I can't name one, brother.
I know you can't. So what are they talking about the science back what? What? How is the science back when they ain't been doing this shit long enough to even back the shit? Then the ones they have done it, I don't think they've been children. I think they've been adults, pretty much adults. What they're trying to do, they're trying to get the okay to try this out on them children. Now, I don't know if there's some children out there that have done it. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, the adults have to approve that. We know damn well children can't approve themselves drinking and having underage sex. So how the hell are children going to have to hold the mindset and thought to approve some damn, to get their sex organs transitioned over? Any sick bastard that came up with that theory, because it's a theory, it ain't even been proven that it works. First of all. You know what I mean? They keep talking about miseducated. How is miseducated when the man spoke on his opinion? See, this is when they're trying to indoctrinate. This is what you call indoctrination. You're trying to force a triangle in a circle hole. Literally. Trying to put a triangle inside a circle. You know what I mean? And they want you not to say anything about it and try to make you. This is victimhood all over again, man. And matter of fact, you're stepping your boundaries because, first of all, who more than a parent, a mother or father or a man or a woman to speak on the rights of a child, especially their child, than some motherfuckers that want to be something that they ain't. Huh?
All I'm saying All I'm gonna say about this.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say.
So obviously, what's going on? They told Neo, you need to retract your statement, or we're gonna cancel you. And he's saying he don't give a damn. They were calling him gay. They told him he.
Who is they again? Who is they? So we're gonna put. Are we
the
putting,
LGBT community training?
man? Get out of here, man.
No, I told you who it is.
Get out of
The
here.
LGBT.
Man, get out of here.
The
I don't even know who that
LGBTQIA
is.
plus
That's not a
They
look
gonna
here.
cancel.
That's not a person. That's not a person, place, or thing. So I can't even recognize. I'm not even recognizing that shit. First of all, so you got to start back playing this game on there. That's not. I don't recognize that. That's some new made up shit. How's some new Johnny come lately motherfuckers gonna try to put the rules down on everybody?
They recognize. Hey, they recognize themselves, don't they?
No, they don't. They trying to be something else. They don't even recognize their own damn self. So what? How would I ever? How would my brain ever want to take direction, information, and be educated by some bitch that can't even recognize who they are? So bad that they ain't even willing to change themselves. They're trying to do it to children. This was the most major part. They're trying to convince the world, parents, and other damn mature adults that children all of a sudden now, by science, have the ability to make these choices on their own.
Hey, look, Shaq.
Really?
We in a bad state. I'm about to read something. I'm gonna play something for you, okay? I want you to hear this now. Listen closely.
Yeah.
In number 50 seconds.
Alarming survey paper, the Anti-Defamation League finds anti-Semitic prejudice by Americans doubled since 2019. The year-long report shows 85% of Americans believe at least one anti-Jewish trope. Many believe in Israeli-oriented anti-Semitic positions, and young adults have more anti-Israel sentiment than the older generation.
But what these findings represent, what they tell us, and what creates such urgency is the fact that huge numbers of Americans hold dangerous, false ideas about the Jewish people. And these are ideas that historically have led directly to anti-Semitic violence.
The ADL director says 2021 had the most anti-Jewish incidents in more than 40 years since the data began tracking. An alarming.
Now, you gotta ask yourself, where the hell are they getting this damn data from? That 85% of people hold at least one anti-Jewish trope? That's daggone more than 3/4 of the country then. What are you talking about?
But see, this is a case of I can do what I want, when I want, say what I want.
It's a facade.
You know?
It's a facade.
They want it where they don't even want you to speak them up of nothing. And then now they overreaching now, and if you saying they're gonna automatically assume that they are the ones being the victims. Bullshit. See, this is they're gonna get themselves in some they're gonna get people hurt. They're gonna get people hurt, man. I'm gonna tell you for real.
At least Kanye let us know who he was talking about. Jamie or whoever they clone, whatever it is, said what? They said the word they, and they turned into them. How you get that out of that? He didn't say he was talking about. He just said they. As a matter of fact, in the Bible, the Romans killed Jesus. So I don't know why we ain't getting all that, but I'm just letting you know that's how they brought it up. So they get to cry victim. What I'm saying, Shaq, they are very narcissistic. And they need to be called out.
Sociopaths? You think?
Yeah, you need to be calling on shit.
Everything. All this anti-Jew is this, anti-Jew is this. Well, how many people are y'all anti? Because if y'all so pro-you, then that means you definitely got to be anti everything else. No? If you that pro-you, obviously, in reverse, you got to be anti everything else. That's not you. So who is really the anti and who are really the pros?
They anti everything.
Huh?
They anti everything.
They anti everybody and everything. And they pro themselves. You know what I mean? But at the same time, no accountability on the end when anybody from the Jewish community get found guilty of something or accused of something, like everybody else get accused and found guilty of, or possibly, you know. They pushing themselves into a corner, man. They thinking they pushing power, but they're gonna push themselves into being public enemy number one. Because eventually people are gonna wake up and say, well, hold on. Well, what makes them special than me? What on this earth makes them more special than me to get more privileges and special privileges and accommodations than me? They're gonna box themselves into a corner, yo, where don't nobody want to be fucking around. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna want to be around the son of a bitch.
One more video for
Real.
you.
That's how I look at it.
Let me play one more video for you. This happened
How you gonna come to somebody else's country, nigga, and force your way in
This happened
somebody else's
last
country?
week.
Bitch, where your country at? That's what I would ask. Where the fuck is your country at? Shit.
Now let me play this for you. I want you to hear this. But they got a victory last week.
The trial of the man convicted of carrying out the worst anti-Semitic attacks in American history. The gunman was found guilty of 63 federal charge crimes. Now, a jury has decided of this trial that he will be against were killed inside the Tree of Life synagogue in 2018. 4 police officers and 2 others were also wounded. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park is in Pittsburgh and joins us now. Kathy, this was a trauma for the Jewish community, for other minorities. It's a hate crime, and now the death penalty.
Andrea, good afternoon to you. That is actually attended this trial from the very beginning, so it especially was emotional for them, and we should be hearing their remarks a few hours from now close to the Tree of Life synagogue. But as you mentioned, just kind of bringing our viewers up to speed, the jury voted unanimously for the death penalty for Robert Bowers. As you mentioned, this trial was broken up into different phases. There was the guilty portion, that was part 1, and then he was eligible for the death penalty, and they decided that back in July, and then here we are moving forward with the death penalty. We are told that the sentencing, the formality of all that will actually be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., but they had to be unanimous on this decision, Andrea, and on the death penalty. And is likely, just looking ahead, though, that his defense attorney, Robert Bowers' legal team will be filing an appeal. But on Monday, we heard closing arguments. His legal team argued that he had a troubled past. They were leaning on his mental illness, his schizophrenia, and his delusional beliefs, which led him to carry out that heinous attack back in October of 2018. Meanwhile, prosecutors disputed that, saying that he had hate in his heart and he intentionally attacked that synagogue and had no remorse for it. Andrea?
Kathy Park, this is very unusual for Pennsylvania. This is an extraordinary decision by those jurors. Thank you very much.
More of the story is, like my brother Wes says, kill a black person, you get a hamburger. You kill a Jewish person, you get death penalty. Very simple. Not hard to figure out. It what it is. But that's the way it's going. And the jury, you unanimously on the death penalty too. Just pointing it out. So they got a win last week. Just pointing it out to you. So equal justice is not always applied, Chak.
Well, they called it a hate crime. I don't know. I don't know if the person, you know what I'm saying, actually was targeting them as a hate or was somebody in there he just didn't like. But it's mighty funny because you're looking at this case down in Montgomery, and now they come out, the authorities come out and rule and say there wasn't no hate. No hate. It wasn't no hate. No, it wasn't hate or racially motivated incident. You know what I'm saying? And see, they hide a lot of things
That's
like
what
that.
they tell you. No, that's what they tell you.
That's what they tell you. Now, how y'all gonna already come out and conclude that this not no racial? See what I'm saying? By whose standards, yo? Whose standards?
Because we say so.
When we see, and there's evidence out there that these people, whether it's racist or not, who put the standard on what's a hate crime and what's not a hate crime, y'all? You know what I'm talking about?
I just told you they say it's a hate crime. They say it's hate speech is hate speech. They putting the stand on it.
Oh, they putting the stand on, huh?
Yeah.
Well, like I said.
So let's be real with the whole thing. Break it down in a nutshell. Problem is, Chak, we're under siege right now, and we need to find out what are our biggest strengths and weaknesses. You know what the biggest strength we got? We got people waking up to the truth. That's the biggest strength.
But you know, one of the things too, though, people say, "Well, we need to do
weakness.
We need to do our own thing."
Alabama was a distraction. Okay, I mean, people talked about it, but at the same time, people making too many jokes of it. It happened, but a lot of stuff went down at that time. That biolab information I talked about was discovered at that time. Trump was doing a rally in Montgomery, Alabama, coincidentally the same place where they had to fight. So a lot of things went down at that same time. So we got to understand when they steering you in this direction, look in the other direction because there's something going on behind the surface that you might not be aware of. Just point it out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I will never advocate for nobody to maliciously violate somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's mighty funny. It's mighty funny that, you know, you got other people that use extreme prejudice toward other groups of people. You know what I'm saying? And they you know, there's never no an isolated situation. Oh, it's an isolated situation. It's an isolated incident. Oh, really?
Now let me bring this up. Like I said, this has been very entertaining, good show, and we just got to pay attention to what the hammers that's being directed to us. I'm gonna do another show this week, and we're gonna talk about a couple more things. Got to talk about this so-called climate change. I didn't really get to talk about it that much because Biden is in California right now for 3 days. They be talking about climate change. So climate change, all the other nonsense. So once he's back, we're gonna talk about climate change. Matter of fact, it was a company called Proterra, which was an electric vehicle company. They filed bankruptcy. That's one thing I would mention in the.
That electric vehicle thing, they got to work a lot of kinks out with that thing, man. I don't think they thought that out all the way.
But one of them filed bankruptcy. I'm trying to tell you. They one of his biggest donors too. They donate to his campaign.
And they're trying to go all electric, but we know what they're trying to do because how you gonna corner the market on automobiles? See, this is the shit we be talking about, man. How the hell you just gonna corner the market on transportation, yo? You see what I'm saying? This is the elitist mentality that these people have, man. They are extremists, yo. And guess the majority where they come from. You know the majority where they come from with these huh? You know where they came from. Majority of them.
Europe
with these mentalities. Yeah, Germany. You know where they came from. Yeah, Germany, yeah. Yeah. A lot of them come from there, man.
Oscar Nazis.
Yeah, a lot of these so-called developers, and why the hell they got the stronghold on inventions and manufacturing and innovative technology and shit. You know what I'm saying? They got a stronghold
Chak,
on that.
a good book I always recommend to read is Operation Paperclip: The Secret Intelligence Program that brought Nazi scientists to America, called Operation Paperclip. Tells a lot.
They say, I'm starting to hear a lot of people say, them Jewish people, Jewish. They're some of the most smartest people on earth.
It is what it is. But go ahead, brother. Shout out your information.
Oh, all right, man. Yep, you can check me out. Chak_Elvis on Instagram. Chak Elvis on Facebook. And you can catch me in the YouTube feed. Break dancing on these topics, you know what I mean?
But don't break down too much, brother. Let me know what it is. But this is what I'm gonna say. Be vigilant, people. Be aware. Be smart. Watch your surroundings. Any influencers try to get you to come to a big event, be cautious because it could be a setup.
Right.
And stay out of electric cars because they be burning heat. And they don't get a lot of miles on them to boot. So keep pounding, keep winning. And some people gonna win, some people gonna lose, but they're gonna learn a lesson along the way. Because we're in a war right now, we're able to fight our lives. Like I say, you can give me Bernard Johnson, Facebook, Bernard1120 on Instagram, KingBJMedia.com. Donate $1919 BJ Cash App, and Twitter X actually, 1987 BJ1, and KingBJFitness.com. Chak, thank you for coming on. And let me try to give you a holler tomorrow, and we'll break this stuff down again later. We got trying to get Frank Nitti on, but he said he was at work, so I'll try to break it down more when you, him, and possibly a great lady, Mrs. Lockhart, maybe even Dawson, come back on the show. So with that being said, go ahead, have a good night, brother. And I'm gonna do this.
All right, man. Salute. Peace.
Yes, sir.